All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. So it's Sunday morning, man. Yeah, y'all know, man. Ain't this show goes on and on and on. So I'm not working the new guy today. I didn't really have enough work to justify it, and it's Sunday, and I know we're gonna be working hardcore next week. So new guy, he gonna need his rest today, and you know, I'm gonna be working. We're gonna be working hardcore next week, so you know, there's that. What else got going on? So I appreciate all the comments, y'all, on the bidding process and what you guys will bid, and you know, and all that. And like I said in the video, if I don't get the fence work, then I ain't gonna get none of the work over there. And if I get the fence work, I ain't guaranteed none of the other work. But based on the conversation I had with the owner, based on the depth of our conversation, and you know, and everything, they're not planning on hiring now, and that could change, you know. They're not planning on hiring a general contractor to come in there for anything of the outside stuff. Now, they may hire somebody to go inside the house and, you know, renovate some parts of the inside of the house. I don't know. But I can't, I'm not, you know, I'm not in control of none of that. I can't really worry about that. I can't really even speculate on all I can do is put myself in the best scenario, right? That's the only thing I'm really thinking about. So with that being said, I did talk to him last night. I told him how much money. I told him what over the scope of the job. I got it on video. Well, not video, audio. But I don't know if I'm going to post it. If I do, it'll be in this video. Maybe I'll post pieces of it, because it was a pretty long conversation that we had. So what I did is I told him $3,300. And let me back up a little bit. Okay, so the fence company that he's hiring to build the fence, they gave him a quote on ripping out the old fence and putting in a new fence. Now, we know that the old fence, that the fence company is not gonna you know, be able to dig out all the stobs and stumps, and also not going to be moving other big stumps on site either, you know, that are outside of the fence line. So got to keep that in mind, and that's really what made me bump my number up, because I know that there's a couple of things that I do know that affects the number. The number one thing I know is that the fence company's not going to be as thorough as me on cleaning out the fence line. Ripping the fence down is just a byproduct of cleaning out the fence line. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the way I'm seeing it, you know. Ripping the fence out is not going to be hard. I mean, have y'all ever seen a bobcat rip a damn chain link fence? I'll rip that fence out in no time. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all. I mean, it ain't nothing. I have used my skid steer with a gravel bucket to rip out silk fence that was covered with soil, and rip the whole damn silk fence out, a whole like 300 feet of it. I've used the bobcat to tear down buildings and stuff. Ripping this little old dinky ass chain link fence out ain't gonna be nothing, man. It's gonna be more you know, dealing with it after I rip it out. I'm not worried about it being able to take the post up or anything. So let me get back to what I was saying. So I told him the $3,300, and he says, okay, so now what he needs to do, and he even said, well, I told him $3,300. He said, well, let's just say from $3,000 to $3,500. And I'm like, okay. And so when he came back and said, okay, so I'm gonna call the fence company, and I'm gonna see what kind of quote they're gonna give me if they just have to build the fence. And he said that if their quote is, you know, $1,800, or no, he said that if their quote is $2,000 cheaper without, if they don't have to rip the fence out, then he'll hire me for sure for the 3,300 or 3,500, whatever, So by him going doing, saying the number like he did, then I understand that he's not real tight with the money. Of course, he ain't spent no money yet. Some people are real fluid with the money until they actually have to write a check. So yeah, so that's that's where I'm at, man. So I talked to him for about 20 minutes, but I think I'm gonna get it if it makes sense. And he said that if the fence company will only take off $1,000, because they don't have to demo the fence, then he may just have to let them do it, right? And I'm like, okay, I get that. That makes sense to me. But see, I also know that even if I don't get the fence work, that considering I've already been out to the property twice, that I'm going to be able to find $3,000 worth of work around there no matter what, I mean, now I don't know. If I'm the fence company, put the shoe on the other foot. Fence company, if I'm a fence company, this is how I'm looking at it, okay? Ripping out everything is something that we do, when we rip out old fence, but they're not going to be able to do it as good as me. Now, I don't know, some fence companies have skid steers and everything, and some don't. The cheaper they are, the less likely they're going to have a skid steer. But all of them probably got augers. So, some of them got skid steers, I mean, a lot of times they clear the land for a fence, I guess, that makes sense, I mean, if I'm a fence company, I'm going to have the ability to clear the land, but am I making top dollar at doing that? That's what I have to ask myself. So that'd be like hiring me to build a fence and as the main job, and then having to rip out brush as a side job. Well, they're having to rip out brush as a side job, and really fencing is their main thing. So if I'm the fence company, my thinking is going to be something like, well, I can be more streamlined, and it has a lot to do with a lot of variables, such as how busy is the fence company? Are they backed up? If they can go in there and just pull their lines from corner to corner and go with the fencing, then that might be a bigger money maker for them than ripping everything out, ripping the fencing out and dealing with all the stops. Now the owner is willing to pay me more than he would the fence company to rip out this stuff, because he knows I'm going to bring a lot more to the table as far as that goes, as far as the ability and the insight to be able to get the fence line ready. So, and he told me, so what he basically told me was, if they'll take $2,000 off their bid, then he would just hire me for the 3,300. He would, because he feels like, and this is what he told me, he feels like the $1,300 to $1,500 difference would be worth it, because he understands, what I'm bringing to the table. And I'm not just bringing, skid steer machine to the table. I'm also bringing a lot of knowledge about how to do things, and I can make the skid steer do a lot of different things really fast. And you might not see yourself as knowledgeable about landscape and the look and what looks neat and clean and everything, but when you compare your knowledge to most homeowners on a big scale like that, you're way ahead of them. I'm seeing all sorts of things that we can do, and these people have money. They're not broke. I mean, they own like 3 properties like this, and they're selling their property up in Blue Ridge for $2 million. So, I did all I can do, and he told me that he was going to call the fence company on Monday and and see what they say. So I should know something by midweek. Another thing too that I really haven't talked deep about, I think I might have mentioned it, is the mere fact that in the area that I'm in, over there where his house is, where that property is, that's where that big storm came through. Okay, it hit his property and it hit, you know, all the surrounding areas over there, right? But one thing about it is you can't rent a Bobcat nowhere. All the rental places around here, they're booked out. You can't even rent one. So he may have a hard time finding, I don't know, but I think so, finding somebody with a skid steer that can do the work at the same or better number with the ability that I bring, and in the time period that he's needing it. All of that is relevant, you know. And if you don't own your own skid steer, there's no way that you're going to be able to for sure put a project together like that and it make money for you. You're going to have, your number's going to have to be higher because there's so many variables you're not in control of. See, with me doing it, I'm in control of all the variables except for the weather. It's the only variable I'm not in control of. So that means I'm more predictable. That means I'm better able to do the work and modify a day's work or whatever by the weather. If you rent a machine or have to rent a machine, well, that's just a whole lot of trouble for the whoever you're working for. It's more trouble than well, I ain't gonna say it's always, but it can be more trouble than what it's worth, because you might tell them, yeah, I'm coming on Friday, and you might rent a machine and it might rain all day on Saturday, and then so now you're into the rental for, you know, $400 or $500, and you ain't been able to do the job, so then you got to rent the machine again. And see, I don't have to go through any of that kind of thing. And all that's critical, man. That's all critical, you know. Those are the kind of things that that cost you. You know, and I talk about it all the time, where we're talking about what it costs you to do a job versus what it costs me to do a job. And, you know, that number varies from person to person. So, you know, but yeah, what I think I'm going to get the work. That's what I think, you know, based on my, you know, experience in the game, and based on my many negotiated contracts and bids with customers over the years, and meeting with customers over the years. I think I'm going to get the work. The only way I'm not going to get the work is if the fence company says that they'll rip the fence out for $1,000. See, creating this competition between me and the fence company is going to have to weigh that. You know, the fence company is going to have to, well, their number can't be too high. See, because if it's too high or relatively high, then he's not going to let them do the demo. And all that, set all that to the side, okay, and we'll say that the fence company is going to do the demo for $1,000, okay. Well, we know they're not going to do the demo as good as me, and probably what they'll end up doing, and I would tell the owner this if he tells me that the fence company is going to do it. I would tell the owner this. I would tell the owner I would have them build the fence outside or inside of the original fence line. So then at some point, somebody can come in there and rip all that stuff out. That's just, I will tell him that. And then, you know, maybe I'll get some work like that. But regardless of whether I get the fence job or not, I believe that I can get minimum, number-wise, minimum $3,000 to $4,000 off of that site, no matter what I'm doing. right? It don't matter, whatever it is. That's what I think. And if I can get the fence, then I might be able to get 6,000 or 9,000, you know, after the fence, because there is a lot of work there. And in my videos that I've showed of the property, I'm not really showing everything because I don't really, it's so much to do there, and I so don't know them that I don't really know what their view is, or what you know, I haven't even met the wife yet. And once I meet the wife, I might be able to get a better picture of what they're wanting. See, when you're me or in a spot like mine and you've been doing this a while, that becomes the most important thing. It's a given that we can do the work. It's a given that we can, you know, we got machines and we can do the physical work. What we have to learn, you know, and what I have to learn is real quick, like a lot of times, because especially when the customer's out of town and you don't meet them and they don't live there and all these things, you have to learn exactly what's their look. Some people like ivy growing on their house. Some people don't. Some people like all the bushes, you know, all up against the windows. Some people don't. Some people like nice, neat sod, you know, and cut out beds. Some people don't. You know, some people like a real busy beds with all this maintenance and stuff going on. Some people don't. And so you have to put yourself in a spot where their vision is you see their vision, you know. And if you don't see their vision, you're gonna have a problem. Because you're not going to be able to do the things that they want you to do, because you're not seeing it their way, you know. And I got a little bit of a peek into the husband's vision the other day when I met with him over there. But normally, not all the time, but normally, the wife is gonna have more of a vision than the husband. Most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. And the husband's gonna do whatever the wife wants to do. That makes sense. So he probably went back to his wife and said, okay, well, this guy seems like he knows a lot about, he can do a lot of stuff. Of course, the you know, people with money, they're going to minimize when you're there talking to them about and telling them the things that you can do, and you can move this, you can dig that up, blah blah blah. They're going to minimize that and say, well, yeah, I was going to do that with my four-wheeler, or I was going to do that with my chainsaw, or I was going to do that with my ladder. Or, you know, they always they tend to minimize these things. But then behind closed doors, they're telling their wife, look, this dude can do everything. So even if he comes in a little high on this particular part of the project, and we're looking at the availability of renting a machine, and we're looking at the availability of getting the work done any other way before a certain date, we're not going to hardly be able to find nobody. We're going to have to keep him on the string, or on the hook, somewhat. That's what they're thinking. You know, or that's what I think they're thinking anyway. And I might be wrong, you know, but I'm not usually wrong when it comes to things like this. And the availability of a machine like mine is, well, that's a fact. And that I hate to keep harping on that, but that's a factor, y'all. That's a big factor, you know. So not only can you not rent a machine, and if you do find a rental, you still got to do the work. So a contractor, not only he's in a worse spot than if he don't own his own machine, he's in a worse spot than the damn homeowner. You know, just saying. So yeah. But I'm fixing to do these 2 yards right here. They're going to be so easy, man. They're looking really easy, y'all. Golly, I might be doing this $140 over here for 2. I mean, I might be here 35, 40 minutes, man. I ain't going to be here in no time. Dude, they look easy in there, and they're telling me to come, so I'm going to call one of the ladies and tell her that I'm here. Both these properties are empty, and they are definitely On point for me. So glad I didn't bring nobody with me. Because you don't need nobody for these two, right? But we're gonna see what he's talking about. But at the end of the day, y'all, I believe I'm gonna get that work. I feel like I'm gonna get the work. And the $3,300 bid, well, that's a few $100s more than what I had anticipated. But after telling him that number and seeing the reaction, I don't think that made a difference in, or gonna make a difference in his thinking. Go into a project thinking that I'm not gonna get the work if I really want the work. See, I really want this job of the fencing. Because after walking the property for 2 times, you know, it could use some Ray out there, you know, and I can learn and make money at the same time. And it's right up my alley of what I like to do, you know. It's right up my alley where it's not going to overexert my machine, you know, all these things, you know. And the another thing too, I don't know if y'all noticed in the video the other day, is the logistics are sweet. You know, the ability to dump all the woody stuff into the woods, and the ability to bring the dump trailer within, you know, 25 or 40 feet from the fence line. It's all big open space. I mean, I just love being on the big properties where I don't have to worry about every little bitty thing, you know, with skid steer. It's the perfect property for my Bobcat to go on. So, yeah. And all the input that you guys put in, you know, the comments and all, I really appreciate it, man, because you guys are really making me think and making me take a little bit more of a chance on the money part than I probably would have if I wasn't sharing it on YouTube. Oh yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to Tony M from Dublin, Ireland, man. What's up, man? All the way from Georgia, United States. All the way to Dublin, Ireland, man. Appreciate you watching, man. I'll kick back.